feel like this camera's just ever so slightly crooked and I don't have a level. There we go. I think that looks a little better. I am trying something completely different. Oh. Okay. There's like a super long delay between when this camera records and when it gets streamed. Got it. So I start, get everything all set up, and then immediately my stomach goes, poo time. I'm like, wow. That works. So, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that, I started building this ODST helmet. And it's just been sitting on the edge of my desk for a while. I want to keep working on it. It's been knocked off my desk a few times. There's like a little smudge right here, one right here. And I think I spilled a soda. Yeah, there's like, I spilled a drink on it, I think, at one point. Oh, there's a little paint chip too. I gotta get like some detail paint and actually like, this is all just spray paint, but I want to do some more detail painting on it eventually. But yeah, this is all 3D printed. And the internal, this internal hanging mechanism here is just out of a hard hat. Just went to like Home Depot and bought the cheapest hard hat I could find. It's held in with just some hot glue, and it actually works pretty well. I mean, I can put the helmet on just fine. But what I want to do, and this is something I learned after the first time I actually wore it to an outing, is I've only worn it like 20 minutes at home, you know? I haven't really taken it and done anything with it. And what's nice is because it's all 3D printed, it's very lightweight. There's a lot of airflow in there. But what happens is all of this plastic reverberates every sound. And so wearing it outside, like to a venue, it was very loud. I couldn't wear it for more than, a minute or two before I was deafened by just all the noise of everything being just this constant hum on the inside. So I don't have the visor for it yet. And the reason I don't have the visor for it is I don't have a vacuform machine or any other way to form a visor. So, although I have met up with some people in the makerspace community, there's a makerspace here in town. It's going to be opening, at least one there's probably a couple, but there's at least one that I'm like, this is the one I'm going to go to because these people are cool. They apparently, I think they have a vacuform machine, so I'll probably end up using that. So, but today's project, I'm working on this, is going to be just sound dampening it a little bit. And the other thing too is I want to put the foam on the inside also because there's nothing here on the cheek area. So when I'm wearing it, I actually can wiggle around a lot. So what I'm going to do is I've got just this scrap bit of thinner foam here. I'm going to put some of that around the front and sides and the top. And then I got some puzzle mat I'm going to put on the cheek rest area to kind of pinch the cheeks a little more. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. So I'm just kind of looking at the inside here and just like, okay, how do I figure this out? I'm going to have to take that helmet piece out. I have to take this internal piece out because it doesn't... Yeah, well, no, yes, I think I can leave it in. Yes, I can leave. Nope, I gotta take it out. Darn. Yeah, this is webbing. Here's what I was using to hold it on to the top of my head. What I'm doing is I'm pulling it off and I pulled it out and I'm going to kind of take out some of the blobs of glue that are in there. Try and give myself a good clean workspace in there. And I do have my phone here, so I got chat. just trying to think, like, I could put a piece like this, and then do 2 small pieces along the sides, and then use that thinner foam across the front, and then like some cheek rests here. I'm gonna try it. I might actually try that. I think that would work. Got my razor blade, sharp blade. And I use a box cutter one like this, just because it's what I have. It's easy for me to use. Yeah, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to just this puzzle mat is great for this kind of stuff. This EVA foam. Hopefully tonight, I'm not going to get rid of these. I mean, these can be used as plugs or gaps or fillers or whatever. So tonight, hopefully, I might be talking with my roommate, and we might actually fire up the 3D printer and start 3D printing some more parts. I've got the helmet printed, and I've got the forearms. But I want to get the chest. I kind of want to do chest and shoulders before I finish the forearms. That's just me, though. What did I say I wanted to cut this? I want this to go pretty much from the back to the front. So yeah, I gotta cut this nub off too. These nubbins. Since this is going inside the helmet, and we'll have probably this. I'm going to put this back in after I put this on. And I'm going to like test fit and everything. Cut it right about here. Now, because it's going inside the helmet, I'm not too concerned about clean, straight cuts. This is just going to go inside here. And I can already see I'm going to have to trim this down a bit. So I got to trim it to fit this profile here. Got to fit this shape. So I got to kind of eyeball it. Let me get a pen. Sharpie right here. Does this Sharpie work? Yes. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. It worked. I've actually, so a couple of times, I've knocked that helmet off of the spot I keep it on my desk. And sent it flying across the tile floor, and I'm like, every time it happens, I'm like, oh no! And then I pick it up, and it's like, oh, it's fine. Now, I'm putting the rough side in, because I figure the rough side will hold glue a little better. There we go. actually. Yeah, I could probably make that. I probably made it a little too long, but I'm also trying to get, like, I don't know how well it can be seen. I'm trying to get this right up there. I need a little more pull through here. The problem is when I press it down, instead of pulling in this back piece, it's pulling in the front. Mark it along here. Sure, what I'm doing, I'm just kind of marking here. So I'm gonna trim that piece off, and actually I'm gonna thin this out a little bit. I'm gonna get the heat gun out and actually like shape this a little more to. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, this is going on the inside, so I'm not too concerned with any imperfections. My only concern with putting the foam on the inside is that it's gonna. It may potentially make the thing an oven, especially here in Vegas in the summer heat. That's why mostly when I'm going to be wearing this suit, it's going to be wearing it indoors at my local bar. Grab my heat gun. One of my big things with working with EVA foam and I don't like about it. I don't have the patience for it, really. Like, which is weird. Well, I don't have patience for it because it's like, oh, you gotta do all this, you gotta do all that, you gotta do all this cutting and trimming and heating and everything. And I just have a hard time doing that. Like, to make it look good, to make it work fine, make it look good. Bleh. I'm gonna plug in now. Thought there was a power strip that printer's plugged into, but I just don't know where it's plugged into at. Let me grab my extension cord. of course, extension cord's tangled. So I started building this like a year and a half ago, and I stopped. Whoa, right on. I stopped when COVID and everything just going crazy. Because I was just having a hard time with getting the motivation when everything I wanted to go do was getting canceled and everything. And then when things started to reopen, just because of my work schedule, I have to work weekends. It's hard to have the motivation to work on this when I don't have the opportunity to wear it as often as I would like. Because I work Saturday and Sunday. You know, most conventions are Saturdays and Sundays. I run the heat gun here and just put some heat into this foam and shape it. I think there was a hair or something inside that heat gun that was some dust or something, because I could smell burning everything, and it wasn't me and it wasn't this foam. Just put the heat into it, not a whole lot, like enough that I can still work it with my hands. Really, if you're going to be proper about it, you should be wearing gloves when you do that. But I'm not putting a whole lot of heat into it. There's some hair or dust or something in this thing. I set the heat gun down on the floor because I have tile floors. So it's not like I'm gonna, melt carpet or set fire to this wood workbench with it. All right. Oh wow, that is almost perfect. Want to see how it fits. actually, if I trim right here, and right here, just little openings, that'd be perfect just like that. I don't have to put too much glue on that either. Still gonna glue it in so it doesn't like shake loose over time. Now, you know what? Before I do that, the reason why I want to trim it in those spots is because that's the spot where I'm going to eventually reattach the harness for the mesh for the helmet, the mesh insert. Oh, I was saying earlier about the 3D printing. I'm kind of all over the place while working on this. That's just how I usually am. So, depending on how well this stream kind of does, there's a lot of things with the stream. I don't mean like, oh, I get a ton of viewers and likes and follows and subscriptions and blah 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 blah. No. What I mean is testing a lot of different things with hardware, and I want to see how well all the hardware works. And if the hardware works the way I want it to, which so far it is, then I will probably kind of have my motivation back for working on my ODST kit. I've also been talking to some people in the 405th, and it's reinvigorated me a bit. I want to trim this one out. I just want to keep it kind of. And this is all internal stuff. Unless I take the helmet off and hand it to you, you're not really gonna see this. Do you like that heat though? Put that shape in there. I want to heat it some more and give it more definition right here. The foam will hold the heat for a while. Trying to get it to fold in like 4 different ways at the same time. See how that fits in there now. What I'm doing is I'm taking one little like scrap piece and putting it down so I don't scuff up the top of this too much. I thought about actually wearing the GoPro on the top of my head. Oh, that is perfect fit. Look at that. I mean, it looks like crap. It's not the best, but for what I'm trying to do with this, oh yeah. Yeah, what I'm trying to do with this, just to add some sound dampening in here, that's definitely doing the trick. And then I'll take like one of these scrap pieces here and trim it out to go kind of right here. And I'll get it to conform to that shape. And then I'll take some thinner stuff I might even just take this thick piece right here. How much would that actually block my... That might have to be a thin piece because I can't get it on with that piece right there. The next step is an outdoor step. I'm not going to take the camera with me, and it's a quick one. Just going to hit it with some, I got some Loctite spray adhesive. All I'm going to do is spray it on the back side of this, and press it in here. But I want to do the spraying outside. Anytime I'm doing anything with a spray, spray paint, spray adhesive, I try and do it outside. So that way all that spray stuff doesn't come in the house. Well, I really won't be able to put this back on for a little while until all that spray adhesive cures. I don't want to put a helmet on that's got full of curing glue, you know. So yeah, I was saying, like, if all this hardware and everything works the way I hope it does, then as I do more 3D printing with the 3D printer right here, hopefully starting tonight, I don't know, see where things are at, where people are at, how people are feeling. As I start doing that, I'll probably stream more of that and just like make this like a once a week thing. Hopefully help keep my motivation going. I'm gonna let that glue cure for a few minutes. I'm gonna use I'm gonna go put a quick message and I'll use the restroom. One of the things that's weird about this setup is there's a massive delay between when this GoPro records, when it gets processed by one computer, then sent to the other computer, and then sent to Twitch. I also got glue right on the tip of my finger. It's bugging me. Now I'm gonna start. I'm putting the piece right here. Let me see, I want to take this, something like this piece right here, and put it like this. And I'll leave this opening right here for the helmet mount. I'm gonna trim a little bit right there and trim some here. So that way it bellow the helmet mount, which goes right there, and then overlap right there. So and then I'll trim it to keep it in line with that. It's like, can I get it to kind of conform to that pocket, or should I leave that gap there? That's where I got to cut. So this here is just some overlap with that piece I put in earlier. This is helmet mount, and then this is for the visor. I want to leave room along this inside edge here for when I do get the visor made, that I can don't have to worry about like trimming anything. I keep thinking it's way later in the day than it is, because normally I sleep until like 9:30 on Tuesdays, because I don't have to work today. And so I woke up at like 7:30 this morning, got up, started my day. Actually, I think it was sooner than that. I think it was like 6:30, maybe 7 o'clock, I don't know. And so I've just been going. And I'm like, it's gotta be way later than it is. No, it's only 9:54. What the heck? Let me see how this fits in there. And I keep forgetting to do this, but I always like to close my knife when I'm done with it. So I'm gonna get a Sharpie. Last thing you want to do is have this dry out, or go to reach for something and stab yourself with that. Well, that fits exactly how I wanted it to. All I'm going to do is trim to match that line there. I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna match that line. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new line. Right there, like that. That'll do. Or anything else? Every time I go out and eat, they give me way more napkins than I need. Rubbing alcohol, unused. Diamond's napkin. I don't care about this line here is going to get painted, but one's going to be up against my face. And I'm going to shape this a little with the heat gun. Just kind of give it a little better chance of conforming. Quick little bends. I don't want to crease it. I want the foam to kind of stretch a little. And this piece is actually going to have to be reheated because it's going to be sitting in a weird way. But take this, go right there like that. And it fits in there like so. I'm kind of waiting for the stream on my phone, watching it to catch up to where I'm at. It's still showing me putting it in. No, it's hard to see because the light is in the bad spot. Like, if I move the camera, so the problem is, I can move the camera here. And I feel like there's better lighting if I move the camera right here. Then you're looking at my freezer. Like it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but a little better light right here. Again, I'm waiting for the camera to catch up, and this is still warm. I think that's actually. So I'm pondering if that's a good place to put the camera. Less likely to like be viewing other people in the house, I guess. All right, so before I glue this piece in, I'm actually going to make a duplicate of it. My piece isn't big enough. To the garage. I'm gonna go to the garage. Sits down at my computer. Now some people might be like, Kaz, you have a garage. Why don't you work in there where you don't have to worry about, you know, going outside to spray glues and paints and stuff? And my response to that is, it's hot in the garage. Like, really hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an inverse of this by tracing it on here. Hopefully this will fit the same side when cut. I'm also using like a small scrap piece of EVA foam, so that way I'm not wasting a big piece. I can barely see that line. Other than one cut being slightly off, that actually worked way better than I thought it was going to. That one is trimmed right there a little. And that needed cleaned up. That fits really well in there. So, knife, that. Oh. grab this red rag. It's like, I don't like putting my helmet down on something hard. I like putting it on something soft. I'm like, oh, I've got shop rags out in the garage. I can grab one of those. Look at that. That is... Again, this is mostly all for sound dampening, not for fit or appearance. It also will add a little more gravity to the helmet, which I kind of like. All right, I'm going to go apply some adhesive to this one. Be right back. Maybe spray adhesive outside. I'm not worried about, like, as this cures the smell of this or whatever, you know, the stuff gassing off of this. I'm more worried about what's inside that spray can when I spray it. I do like how that's turning out now. Let's go do this piece now. All right. Again, I'm happy with that. And it can still be put on. Although as of right now it's very loose because I don't have Okay, the GoPro stopped, and I'm currently attempting to figure out why. This is why it's the test stream. I can take the time to figure out why things aren't working all of a sudden. so it stopped receiving data. That's why. So for the workbench, I'm using a GoPro over there, and it can be finicky. Like, really finicky. And I'm just trying to make sure I work out, like, all the kinks. And I hit it, what, about an hour? I hit exactly like an hour. And it was like, okay, done. There we go. There we go. Hopefully. I don't know. Hopefully. Yep. Yep. Gonna have to restart the GoPro is all. Okay. So I need a piece of paper. I need a scrap piece of paper. Don't have a scrap piece of paper. What I do have is a regular piece of paper. A regular piece of paper sufficient to do what I'm about to attempt to do. No, it is not. So, I'm going to fold it in half. Along, I just creased it. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just for drawing a quick template. Quickly do a little bit of cleanup. So I got my foam there, and then underneath the foam I've actually got some, it's not even mine, it's actually, my roommate is working on a suit of leather armor for my girlfriend, who is his sister. So, yeah, that's what the leather's for. I'm just being very careful not to mess it up. Yeah, I thought I had a roll of Scotch tape. But, again, this isn't anything mission critical, so. Actually, here's what this is brilliant. Boom. Actually, no, I got a better one. I'm gonna need this tape. These little paint cups, mix cups that Bondo comes with. It's usually the lid, and it has like the binding agent in there. Boom! Look at that! Look at that! That is almost like I know what I'm doing. Just a little bit of tape here. That right there in place. All I'm doing is using this tape and this paper to make a template for the next piece of foam I want to cut. Now I can see where I got to trim. So I'm going to do is kind of go like this. And now I know if I cut on the inside of that line on my other foam, which I hope I have enough of. I think I got a big enough piece for it. Oh, I don't, but I can make it work. I can make that work, or do I have some other foam out in the garage? But if I cut there, this piece will basically fill that spot there. Let me go look at my garage. I might. I got this big roll of craft film, but it's like I've used it all up, and I'm like, maybe I have a sheet of craft foam that I can use. I thought I had more craft foam. I thought I had more sheets of it, but then I must have used it all up. Oh well. Now I intentionally cut below that line. And the reason is, this is where just leave me a little bit of a gap for when I go to put the visor in. So I cut below that line because this is actually the actual edge. So this is the actual edge of where this was at, was about here. I'm going to leave a little bit of a lip here, a little bit of a gap for the visor. Now, question is this big enough? Is this scrap piece? Oh, that is just big enough. Let's see, is it big enough this way? About. If I do a diagonal cut like that, it'll work. I guess that's what I'm going to do. I need to get another roll of this foam because I actually like this foam. This is a big, like, almost industrial roll of craft foam. Here. This basically is going to go in right here like this. Yeah, that is good. I like that. All right, let me go get some. I'm gonna use a different glue for this. Now, I'm using, for a lot of this stuff, like this isn't structural. It's not integral to holding everything together. So I'm okay with using just a very a light non-brand name general spray adhesive. It's just, and it's general performance, lightweight bonding. So that way, if say in 6 months I'm not happy with how this foam is sitting, or maybe I take it to a convention and oh no, I got to pull the foam out. It's not a big ordeal to pull some heavy, thick glue out. And that's why I just went and grabbed just a bottle of tacky glue. Because this is just craft foam. I don't need Loctite 5 million to hold it in place. Even that spray adhesive would probably be too much for this glue. So all I'm going to do is just put a little bit on and then use my fingers to kind of spread it around thin and get it where I want it. If this bottle isn't caked up too much. This bottle might actually be not good anymore. Well, it's still good. There's something in the tip here that's not letting it come out. Yep, there was a little solid plug of glue right there. This is being tacky glue. I actually don't care if I get it all over my hands because this comes off really easy. A little bit of rubbing alcohol, a little bit of soapy water. The one concern though is like, because I'm using tacky glue and it is water soluble, it'll break down if you get it wet. If I find myself in a situation where, you know, maybe I'm underwater wearing this, but if I find myself in a situation where I'm in water while wearing this suit of armor, I'm going to have a bit higher priority concerns. Namely, why am I wearing a suit of armor in water? And I think the only time that would be expected of me is like if I intentionally jumped into a pool. Which I don't really intend to do with this. Because there will actually be electronics in this at some point. I'm not going to waterproof them. The only other real concern using tacky glue on here, especially like, you know, the face piece or mouthpiece, you know, maybe there'll be some humidity that gets to it when I'm talking, but it's one of those things where it's, that bridge will be crossed when we get there. And now, the #1 glue spreader in the world. I kind of touched on this earlier. The glue, that's what I touched on earlier. No. Touched on it a little bit earlier, why my work schedule and everything, and going to events and just not having the motivation to work on this. A big part of it is like working weekends. I don't feel like I have any me time, like any time to do the things that I really want to do, because all the things I want to do are, well, they're on weekends. I can't. It's weird. All right. So it's like, when I come home, it's like, oh, you know, I couldn't do all the things I wanted to do on Saturday or Sunday because I was working. Why do I want to spend time working on a creative project or something? It's just me being weird, I guess. I need. Other things too, like any damage that I do to any of the paint, like scratches or whatever, I'll just touch up with like some silver, gray paint or something. Eventually, when I go do weathering. and it'll just end up looking like battle damage. I'm just using a binder clip to pinch part of this foam in place right where I want it. Right there. Now hold it in place while I wait for this glue to kind of set. Now, technically, it takes a little longer than the spray adhesive did to cure. A couple places where it's like, oh, it didn't quite sit right, and I gotta trim that. I didn't quite get this lined up as ideally as I wanted to. There. I'll just take this piece and real sneakily. Again, this is all internal. It does not have to be 100% cosmetic. It's mostly just there to dampen the sound. Because when I was wearing, I took this to Millennium Fandom about a month or so ago when they reopened, and I was wearing it, and every time I would put it on, just the ambient noise of that place was so loud, and it was reverberating in there so much. Just everything, even trying to talk to somebody, just became this loud hum. I mean, if you've ever worn a full face motorcycle helmet, you kind of know what that's like, but it was like 10 times louder. Next, I want to put just a little piece here and here of the thicker foam. And then I can put the mesh back in. But I want that tacky glue to set for a little bit. So, do a little cleanup while we wait for that. might be a little while before that is before I can proceed. Now, can I? Uh-oh. It's like, can I put it on? That's a real question. I'm gonna take my glasses off because things are moving. Okay, yes, it can still be worn. It does sound quieter. I did have to take my glasses off though because the binder clips are in the way, and I think I got glue on my face and in my hair. Nope. I think this is a spot that cracked right here when it fell the other day. Got some black paint. Do I have any black paint that I can use? A little bit of kind of a gray paint here. It's more gray than it is black. That'll do. It'll actually do. I'll do is I'll just spread it real thin here in some places. Actually, what I can do is I'm actually going to do a little bit of detail painting while we get some proper black for that. This isn't black. This is it's called pavement. So it's more of a blackish gray, but it's given just a little bit of an accent right there. I don't know how well that GoPro's picking it up. But some of these pieces I'm just going to put a little bit of this on there, and it actually might make some of these details pop a little. It'll be one of those things that like you only really notice when you look at it in person. Oh yeah, that definitely makes a difference. I don't know how well that's visible. ODST helmet hack. What are you clipping onto it? So earlier, I put some foam inserts on the inside, and I'm just letting that glue kind of set. And I'm just holding it in place while that glue sets. I'm just doing a little bit of detail paint because I'm gonna kill some time while that glue sets, I guess. I'm just putting foam inserts in because the last time I wore it, the first time I actually wore it to any kind of event, it was very, very loud inside the helmet. And I'm like, I'm going to fix that by putting some foam in there to kind of sound dampen it a bit. But I'm also like, while I'm waiting, I want to do some detail painting here. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. The GoPro probably isn't picking up this how dark this black is, this dark gray that I'm putting onto some of these little accent parts, but it'll pop out in like photographs and definitely in person. Looking good. I thought I heard like something melting, like a sizzling, and I realized no, I have the stream up on my phone so I can see chat, but I have the volume turned way down, and what I'm hearing is myself talking like ever so slightly. It sounds like a whisper. I took it out. I took it out a couple weeks ago to my favorite bar here in Vegas called Millennium Fandom, and while wearing it, it was just like, if you've ever worn a full motorcycle helmet, like a full face one, it was like that, but 10 times louder. And I didn't like it. I couldn't talk to people because all I heard was their voices muffled because the sound of the music playing there was hitting this thing and just vibrating the whole inside. So much so that I gotta put some tape on here. So much so that I couldn't hear what people were saying. All I heard was and when I would talk, I couldn't tell if they could hear me. I mean, they could hear me just fine, they said, but I was like, yeah, but I don't know. So every time I went to go talk to people, I took it off. And then ended up not wearing it the rest of the night. I just ended up carrying it with me. You see a few little places here and there. I know that pain. Yeah. So I was like, all right. And what was nice, though, is that that was the first time I'd actually taken it out. And everyone who saw it was like, this thing is amazing. It's awesome. And then they're like, oh, you 3D printed that? I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll keep working on it. And then I've had a hard time. I want to build a full suit, and I've been working on it. And I actually have the forearms started. Maybe that's what I'll work on next week, depending on where I'm at with other things. I'm just kind of testing. Right now I'm testing out, like, can I stream with this setup that I currently have? I normally do, like, video game streams and stuff. But I changed up, or I tried something with my GoPro. And I'm trying something new with it. Anyways. I have plans to do some more 3D print parts. And if we start those tonight, then maybe by next week I will have parts for the torso. But as I was saying, I said this earlier, I started this project actually like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, something like that. I don't remember. I'm keeping track. And I just lost motivation with COVID and everything getting shut down. And then on top of that, my work schedule being that I work weekends, it's so hard to go to conventions and stuff because it's like, I effectively, if I want to go to a Saturday, Sunday convention, I have to take a full week off. I pretty much have to take a full week off. Or I have to work 2 days, go to the convention 2 days, and then come back and work 1 day, I can't tell if you can tell the contrast there, but there's a little bit there, and actually that makes that whole piece, that area pop. Oh. Yeah, that's actually looking, just that little bit right there. Just that little bit of touch-up. A little bit of detail. I'm going to do some cleanup on that paint, though. Some spots I didn't quite get as well as I wish I had, and some I went a little overboard. But I'm going to come back in with black paint. And then I'm going to dull coat the whole thing. Before I get the visor, I'm going to dull coat it. But, yeah, so I had, like, no motivation just from work and everything. And a couple weeks ago, last weekend was the owner of Millennium Fandom Bar, the bar I go to all the time. It was his birthday. And so I said, I'm going to go there for his birthday and just hang out. I'm not going to worry about cosplay, dressing up or anything, because I don't have anything to fit the theme that he had for the night. And somebody from another member from the 405th Mountain Regiment. He was there. Or he was in town. He's like, I'll come hang out with you for a little bit. And I was like, okay, cool. And we got talking and everything, and that really kind of reignited my drive to work on this. And I'm like, all right, I think I can spend some time, Tuesday and work on it. And then I was like, oh, what I could do? I could try streaming it. Maybe if I'm live streaming it, maybe that'll help me have some motivation. Even if nobody else watches the stream, I can at least say I tried, and I can have, an interesting piece of content that I made. After everything is all put together on this, like this helmet is to the point where I'm ready to pop the visor in, I'll do like a layer of a wash of some sort to like grimify this thing. And really make it like, and even do like maybe some battle damage to it. Figure out where I can hold it that I'm not gonna like screw up glue that's drying. Or set it down like with a smear paint that's drying. I'm probably going to go for another. I'm probably going to finish up this paint and then just call it an afternoon. Because my stomach is growling. I'm like, I ate breakfast. What the hell? And I'm like, oh no, I ate breakfast at like 6:30 this morning. Not as early as I normally, or as late as I normally do. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel after the fact, I might, like I said, I might stream this more like Tuesday afternoon, like early Tuesday afternoon, since Tuesdays my days off. And hopefully the plan is maybe start another print and start working on the chest, and hopefully have the chest pieces printed where I can at least start assembling them and primer painting and all that stuff with them by next week. It really depends on, because I actually don't know how to run the printer, the 3D printer. Like, I can turn it on, I can get a print started, but actually doing the scaling and the slicing, my roommate, she is way better at that than I am. Okay, I like that just a little bit of detail I put in. I put some dark gray here and then up here. I missed a spot right here. And then this is a light gray, and then this is dark, and then this gray and this gray are actually the same. But I do like that. And the way I did this stripe up here, I actually masked off this seam line along here, painted this whole top piece gray after already doing a base coat of black, then put just a single strip of this blue painter's tape. Just went across there and then hit it with black. And I put too much black on there, because if you actually take your hand and you run it across like this right here, you can feel that there's actually a layer of paint more of black than there is gray. And that gray is also kind of gloss, but I like that it's glossy with this matte black here. I like that. I think once all this glue's, this tacky glue is probably going to take a few hours to cure. So I'm probably going to clean up my paintbrush, put away my glues, and shut down the stream for the day. This was just a test to see how well the streaming software and hardware would operate. I'm 75% happy with it. We had one hiccup earlier. Tomorrow on my Twitch channel here, I'll be playing Halo. Hopefully I'll be playing Halo Lasso with some of my friends. If not, we'll just be playing some general Halo. And then probably by this time next week, so starting at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Pacific, which will be a little later in the afternoon, East Coast time, I'll probably do some more work. I'll probably go grab my arm. If I don't have the torso started, the printing, then I'll work on the arms, because the arms need a lot of work still. Like, one of them is put together, but I don't like how it's put together. And it's painted, but I don't like how it's painted. Another one is started to put together, and I stopped because I was like, I want to get the right forearm, because that's the one that I have so far. I have both the right and left. The right forearm is fully assembled, painted, and wearable, but I'm not happy with it. So I might take it apart and reassemble it in a manner that I'm more happy with. And I have the left forearm, started the assembly, and I stopped because I was working on the right forearm. No, I'm getting this backwards. I have the left forearm assembled to go. It's the right forearm that I have assembled. I don't have painted. I don't have wearable yet. But the left forearm, I was working on that and the right one at the same time, and I said, I'm just going to finish the left one, and once I figure out how to do the left forearm and make it wearable and proper, I'll just copy that onto the right forearm. But, yeah, it'll either be the torso that I'll be working on next week, or the forearms. Do all that fun stuff, like, subscribe, follow, share, blah, 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 blah. This is only going out to my Twitch channel. Tomorrow's Halo stream will be on my Facebook channel as well, but I'll probably link this. This will also be sent to YouTube right after I'm done here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, check the link in the description for the Twitch channel. Come hang out, whatever. I'm going to probably put out a video tomorrow talking about some serious stuff, real life stuff, so be ready for that. Mostly just pertaining to airsoft. Oh, I missed a spot with the paint. I missed a couple spots. Anyways, I'm gonna clean up the brush and call it. Mostly because I'm also like really hungry and I want to eat food. I don't want to be eating food on stream.